Welcome to Season 8 of Wildcat Week. I'm your host, Isaac Wolf, alongside my brand new co-host, Bright Kari, member of the men's basketball team on campus here. Bright, introduce yourself a little bit.
Yes, sir. I'm Bright Kari. Like Isaac said, it's a pleasure to be here, Isaac. I'm really happy about this. I'm excited about this opportunity, just to get this thing off the ground.
Shout out to my former co-host, Abbie Harvey, for holding down the fort the last 4 incredible seasons of Wildcat Week. She has graduated from IWU and is now using her 5th year to play softball at Northwestern. So shout out Big Ten. Best of luck to her. Today, we are in for a treat of an interview as we have a pair of national champions with us.
Sir.
One of them saw us win the Natty 2 years ago, hopped on the bandwagon and transferred from Lake Erie College. And then the other is perhaps the most decorated setter in NAI history, or at least is on her way to that. Very well so. So please welcome Jessica Ickes and Abbie Porter. So, guys, to start, obviously the last 2 seasons, you guys went 75-2. So that was really, really impressive. And then in the first 11 games of this season, you've already dropped 3. So is there any sort of shock or adjustment to the fact that you're not winning at the rate that you were the previous 2 seasons?
I would say it's definitely an adjustment, obviously like a mindset shift kind of, but we knew coming into the season that it wasn't going to look the same as the past 2 seasons. I mean, we talked about that last year as well, just that we probably weren't going to go undefeated, and knew that we were going to have to just try a lot of different lineups and just learn to mesh together a little differently than we did last year.
And Abbie, for you, the dynamic of not having your number 1 outside hitter these first few games, how much of an adjustment has that been, not playing with Eva? I mean, she just came back over the weekend, but those first 10 games, was it different for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Eva's a really, really good player and definitely a leader on the court too. So I think it was definitely just a little bit of a shift, but I think everyone who came in did a really good job of just staying calm and just working together as a team, because we knew that we were going to have to do that to put together wins and to just be successful even with Eva not on the court. So I think we did a good job with that.
And then, Jess, what have some of those adjustments looked like for you in terms of the win rate from last season to this season?
Yeah, I think just coming together more and just, I guess, having to balance everything differently. Eva definitely took a lot of the heavy load in moments when we were down last year, and we kind of found out early that we can't just have Eva there to get us out when we're down against other teams. It kind of felt like last year things always worked, we worked our way out of things, and this year we realized we really have to work together, and just me myself be more of a leader on the court too, and with my teammates, just to make up for that. And just, I think it's just making us stronger though all together, because we won tough games without her, and then with her coming back, it's going to make us all the better. So
just to follow up on you saying, stepping into a bigger role, right? This is your 2nd year here, much bigger role as a player, much bigger role as a leader, much bigger role, just in the locker room and all those things. Can you speak to how different it's been just to, have more on your shoulders and just be tasked to do more in leading this team?
Yeah, I think it was a mindset switch from last year, just also having more of a consistent role on the court too, but also just spiritually in my identity. Last year I was struggling with that in volleyball and in Christ, and then just finally giving that up to God and fully finding my identity in volleyball helped that shift a lot in my play, and then as well as leadership on the court. And I just think I have the ability to be that person for other people to lean on and to encourage them, and just to do small things. If I notice someone's having a bad day, then just pick them up. Small things can help people a lot and in big ways. So just doing the little things, I think has helped our team a lot.
No doubt. Abbie, can you speak to how Justice kind of stepped into a bigger role this year?
Yeah, it's been really cool to see. I think even just coming in during preseason, you could just tell there was just a different mindset, and she was really just putting it all out there and wasn't getting in her head, and was leading others and showing others that it's okay to make mistakes and that you can move on from them. which I think is a big adjustment, and it's definitely helped our team a lot just since Ava's gone and, well, was gone. And she just brings so much energy to the court too, and it's really helped us in those moments when we were missing like that spark, or we knew that we had to come down from, or had to come back from being down by a lot, and just always knows how to bring everyone together.
Thanks, Abbie.
Another major thing for you guys is, you're brand new coaches, two new assistant coaches. Can you guys talk about, the impact that they've had, just the last, how long has it been? Month and a half now that they've been here? I've heard a lot of good things myself, but kind of an inside look to how it's been with two new assistants.
Yeah, I think that they came from a culture that has a mission similar to IWU's, so just that in the beginning was really good. And we got to go on the mission trip with them too, which I feel like helped us get to know them better and just grow in that trust, because obviously when Dan was here before, he had been here for a long time, so we had already built that trust, and Coach had built that trust with him. So having preseason with them was really good.
Yeah, and I also just think the positivity coming from them has helped a lot. Just having that balance sometimes of like maybe some tougher moments and then just positivity in those tougher moments has really been great, especially from Will, and he's just been a great addition.
So let's flash back to last year's national championship game, because there was a moment in that fifth set where you guys were down, was it 14-7?
7, was it
14-8?
8? Yeah.
14-8. And you get the point. Autumn, a freshman, is up to serve in that moment. What is going through your head when your back is against the wall pretty much as it can be,
Right.
and then you have a freshman to rely on to deliver in such a big moment?
Yeah, at that point, I remember looking at Ava, and we just kind of nodded our heads, and like we just kind of communicated without words in that point. And we knew that like this could be it, but also we had to lead in the same way and just play in the same way that we would if we were winning. And I feel like all of our team felt like that, and that's a big reason why we were able to come out of such a big hole like that. Obviously, we weren't going to give up, but we also had to mentally prepare for possibly losing and the cannons going off for the other team and all of that.
Yeah, because I remember them rolling the cannons out like as she was going up to serve.
Yes.
And then they called a timeout like, right before she served. And in volleyball, a lot of times when other teams do that, it's like to ice the server, so get her to miss her serve. And I remember we were just like on the sidelines. So coach was talking to half the team, the other half the team was on the sideline. We were just praying in that moment, and it was like such a beautiful moment. It was just like coming together, and like you could just feel God's like presence like in that prayer, and it was like so beautiful. And then I just feel like that we just like had that like trust in each other and in Autumn, but like also like you said, just like knowing whatever outcome happens, like be prepared for that.
Yeah, I definitely think we all came around Autumn really well, and we knew like she had put extra reps in serving after practices, before practices, like the whole season, so we knew that she could do it. And I think that like we just had to show her that we knew she could do it too.
Was there a moment during that run where you felt the momentum shift and you're like, all right, we're this close, we can do this?
I would say about like 11 to 14 for me was when I was like, okay, this might be happening. And then once it was 14-14, I was like, we're winning this. Even though we had to get 2 more points.
Right at that point.
Yeah, just the momentum shift, and just the fact they hadn't scored since we were down by like 7 points. Yeah.
Crazy.
What about you?
And
Yeah.
then the schedule this year, you guys played Bellevue, who you played in that national championship, and then you also played Northwestern, who you played in the national championship 2 years ago. So that Nebraska trip specifically was kind of a gauntlet. Talk about the level of competition that you guys played early on in the season.
It was tough. It was like a little bit like daunting, like going into it for sure. Especially as much as we didn't want to say it without Ava, it was like kind of daunting to look at. Playing Bellevue, Northwestern, and then Verturbo, and then Hastings. But I think our first few games were just like kind of off, I feel like. but we're just like working a lot of kinks out, like going through different lineups, and we just didn't have that consistency yet. But I think those moments have already like just made us stronger because we fought through some deficits for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like playing Bellevue, we knew that they had a lot of the same people back and that we didn't. And we knew that we were still working out kinks and that they probably had those things figured out and that they would be coming for us because obviously what happened last year was not fun for them. But I think playing Bellevue, losing in 3 is not something that's fun. But at the same time, I think we did a good job of still like playing hard and not giving up and just keeping energy throughout the whole game and just learning a lot from that game too.
I think it goes a long way when you get to have an intense preseason schedule, you know, before you get into conference. So how different is it for you guys getting from non-conference to conference game? Obviously, you guys had a really tough non-conference schedule, but, you know, the Crossroads League can be really competitive. But preparing-wise, play style-wise, how different is it from the teams you play in conference versus out of conference?
I feel like playing really high-level teams in non-conference just shows us that we can compete at a high level. And even though, like, we did lose a few games, like, we still competed with those teams. And I think that just gives us a lot of confidence going into the regular season.
For you, Jess?
I agree.
Okay, but look, you guys, we have a very competitive league here in the Crossroads, always for just about every sport, right? And I think this year we employ 5 of the top 25 teams in the country, volleyball, right? So do you feel like that elevates your level of play? Because you won't see Bellevue or Northwestern, any of these other teams until down the line, but you think it gives you a good enough mindset to like get ready for those teams?
Yeah, I think Crossroads is always really competitive, and there's not really normally a night where you can just have an off game. So I think that we all know that we have to come into every game like with the same mindset as we would playing like Bellevue or Northwestern or those teams because there are really good teams in the Crossroads League.
Yeah, and I think it also prepares us well, just like having like a scout and preparing before games to how other teams play and adjusting to like their style of play, and that helps us in the tournament as well because you're playing a team every other day. So just like being able to be coachable, take the knowledge that our coaches are giving us in the game and adapt to that, I think Crossroads helps prepare us well for that.
Now, do you think your coach approaches preparing for these games differently, your coaching staff? Or do you like conference versus non-conference? Is it like the same intensity, the same everything?
I think it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
I think our coach is intense about every game. Every game matters. Every game's important.
In every practice, we have like specific things that we're working on for the next team. And I would say that's the same as in postseason. It does help because we know more about these teams because we play them more often. But I feel like other than that, it's similar.
That next team for you is Mount Vernon, and that's going to be on Wednesday. So this is I believe they're the next highest ranked Crossroads League team behind you guys. So what is kind of the preparation going into Wednesday's game looking like today that you just came out of practice and then tomorrow?
Yeah, I think just being really focused in practice and getting all the kinks out right now while we can, and then also just knowing that we will have to adjust during the game because obviously we're adjusting to play against them, but they're also adjusting to play against us. So I feel like just knowing that is going to be important.
Yeah, they're a tough team. We just had to come in to the best of our ability.
Talk to me a little bit about, I've always been interested in like the X's and O's of volleyball. Like what does a scout for a volleyball team look like? Like what are you looking for? What are you trying to defend against? Like personnel wise, what are you looking at with tendencies of certain hitters? What kind of goes into all that?
Yeah, so we look a lot at like they're like stud hitters, so like who they're gonna set in most situations. So like we like have their numbers and we know who they're gonna set more often. And then again, like you're saying, their tendencies, so their hitting tendencies. We know Mount Vernon hits like a lot of like hard cross, so we like prepare like defensively for that and practicing that and repping that out in practice and working out the kinks of the communication of defending that.
We as a setter, we look at like different plays that will work against them based on what other teams did and film and then what they like to run so that we can be ready for like our defensive plays as well. Where to serve to. I
Yeah.
think that's it.
Yeah.
And then when
I mean,
you scout them, is it similar to like other sports where, you know, if they have a hitter who hits a certain way, you try to get somebody to kind of play that role in practice and defend against that? Or
I think sometimes.
okay.
Probably not as much.
yeah. I feel like we do more like drills for that, but like when we play against each other, it kind of just ends up us
You doing
playing.
what you
Us
Yeah.
doing what we do.
It's fair.
Yeah, which makes us better too because
Right.
they know our tendencies and we're playing against them every day, so they know what we do, so they try to stop us.
That is fair.
How individualistic is the scouting versus like preparing for a team, or is it more so more of a team scout than an individual scout?
I would say it's more of a team scout.
Okay.
Like there are things that specific people will have to do if they're like up. Like if I'm blocking one specific hitter, then that would be individual to me. But other than that,
Yeah, I would agree. It's pretty much team. Yeah, I just always try to remember who their best hitters are
Yeah.
and try to make sure I block them.
yeah.
So now shifting gears to kind of the spiritual formation side, what kinds of things do you guys do as a team to keep, you know, the Lord first in everything that you guys are doing on and off the court?
Something that I really like about this team is that we pray a lot together, whether that's like before meals, before games, multiple times before games, like during a devotion, during games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just know the power of prayer, and I think that's really cool.
I don't know.
And before games, we always do a devotion, like coach brings someone in to talk to
Wow.
us, and I feel like that just sets the tone for the rest of the day, which is really cool. Yeah, and it just helps us focus our minds on the Lord, and then we go into film and all that.
Would it be like a specific spiritual leader, or is she just bringing people from the community, friends, faculty?
She brings some people from the school,
Okay.
and then Dr. Joseph comes in a lot. He used to work here, not anymore. Love him. Yeah, he's great.
Shout out Dr.
Shout
Joseph.
out Dr. Joseph.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're normally really good. And then we do film, but have that in the back of our minds.
Can you tell a difference in your guys' connectedness on the floor because of that spiritual bond that you build off the court?
Yeah, I definitely think it helps just having more trust in someone on the court when you know that like they have your back off the court as well, and they're like looking towards the same things that you are and like have the same visions and all that.
Yeah, I just like thinking, knowing that we have like a common goal, a common purpose, that we're doing it for God's glory and for Him. And then we say that at the end of every practice, at the end of every game, with the other team and with each other after practices, like I said. Just reminding that we're doing it for God and His glory and not for ourselves.
It's beautiful.
Well, that's all the time that we have for today, but thank you guys each for joining us, and good luck the rest of the season. Bright and I are regulars at volleyball games,
Yep,
so you
we'll
know
be there
we'll
tomorrow.
tapped in.
Or is it Wednesday?
Wednesday.
We'll be there Wednesday.
Wednesday at 7 p.m. Yep.
Yes.
Thank you all for watching Season 8, the debut of Season 8 of Wildcat Week. We will see you guys next time.
Yep.
Thanks.